I went to Bangkok at the time for like a week or so, and then we went to I believe it's pronounced Chiang Mai. I could be messing it up, but we went there for like a week or two. But that was like that life changed, or that trip changed my life because, I was 16. I was a cocky American kid, like crushing everything in karate, black belt, did all this stuff, and then you go out there and you're just, life is different.
Life
World
is different. Is he the oldest?
No, he's the middle.
He's the middle. Okay.
Yeah. The two oldest, they did martial arts back in the day, but they're a little bit older. They got like families and lives and stuff. They're regular. They're normal. Like
we don't have families or lives. We just
that's what I mean. Yeah.
punch each other in the face.
Yeah, they live a much smarter life.
Yeah.
They have their brain cells, but it took one of the guys. He actually head kicked me, and I was like, oh god.
Oh god.
And then ego wise and competitive wise, I was like, that was really sick, but like, you're never gonna land that again on me.
Yeah.
That's probably one of my biggest fears, with going off of the me not competing for a long time, was I had this fear of competing, and like, because when you fight or you compete in anything, like you're vulnerable.
Yeah, dude.
The truth always comes out.
Yep. The name's JonMac, pro fighter, published author, public speaker. And for the last few years, I've been living life in a van. Meet Appa, my Japanese-inspired tea house on wheels. Welcome in. Coffee, tea, whiskey. That's how it begins. My podcast. The one where we sit and talk about life. Thoughts, stories, human things. Human things. The things that make us human. If that's your cup of tea, then welcome in. Drinks on me. Yo, what up, guys? I'm sure you were expecting to see a guest on the show, which you will see a guest in just a second here. But I figured I'd pop in real quick and kind of catch you up to speed on where the fuck I'm at. So today is Sunday, June 22nd, which is the day that this episode is going to air, which is like a couple hours from now. I know I don't have a watch, but I'm pretty aware that's 4 o'clock. Anyways, this was actually supposed to be the season finale, episode 12 of JonMac's Tea House of season 1, but I kind of fucked up on episodes 10 and 11. I accidentally shot them in 240 frames per second instead of 24 frames per second. At least the 2-shot, this kind of shot right here where you see both the host and the guest, me and whoever it is that I am having on the show. But yeah, anyways, long story short, I fucked up. I recorded in the wrong frame rate. I've tried to convert it to 24 frames, which I did, but now they're like slow and glitchy and the color's all off. And I had the homie Shane help me out, but they're still kind of fucked up. So I decided to basically take those 2 episodes, and while I'm continuing to troubleshoot it, move it to the back end and make those episodes 11 and 12, and then moving up episode 12, Jordan Barker, to episode 10. Not that you care. Nobody was even asking. No one's probably even watching it from start to finish, episode 1 through 12. I mean, actually, there's a few people out there who are, and you know who you are, and I appreciate you. Love you. Anyways, that's kind of where we're at, If I'm being honest with you guys, I'm fucking tired. I am fucking tired. I have been getting my ass kicked the last couple weeks with editing. I'm just exhausted. It's been a long, as if it was like a fight camp, right? Like imagine a 12-week fight camp. And for anybody who's ever been in a fight camp, like 8's probably like the average. 12 is like, that's a pretty long camp, 3 months. And so I feel like I'm at the end of fight camp and I'm exhausted and I'm tired and I'm actually hot as fuck right now because it's hot as hell in this fan. But I don't have the fan on because of audio. Anyways, I'm fucking rambling now. All this to say, I've now moved Jordan's episode, which was supposed to be the season finale, up to episode 10. I hope to get episodes 10 and 11, which are now 11 and 12, fixed by next Sunday because that's when it's going to air. But anyways, that's kind of where I'm at with the podcast. I'm looking forward to the day where I don't have to edit any of these podcasts and I can pay somebody to edit it and I can just be the talent and I can host people and I can have great conversations because the editing, seriously guys, is fucking kicking my ass. Like, shout out to all the editors out there. Like, I had no idea the undertaking that I was taking under Is that a thing? I don't know. But yeah, it's been kicking my ass. And I can't wait for this to be done in a couple weeks and take a little break from staring at my computer and Final Cut Pro and all the fucking shit that comes with editing this podcast. Take a little break and then kind of retool and then come back in the fall and hook y'all up with season 2. Until then, enjoy the episode. My good friend, training partner, Jordan Barker. And then I got a couple more for y'all, as long as I get it fixed and edited by next week. So yeah, that's where we at. Enjoy the show. Ciao. Come on in, bro. Welcome to the van. Welcome to Appa.
Oh, almost got caught right there. We're good.
Take it easy, man. Get taken down in the first 30 seconds.
I know. That's very like me.
There's some cork yoga blocks on the floor for your feet if you need that.
Oh,
Pillows,
sweet.
Make yourself at home, move them around, left, right, whatever you need to do.
Dang, dude. It's the hookup.
Yeah, dude. Can I offer you a beverage? Coffee, tea?
Let's do some tea.
Tea?
I love me some tea, actually, yeah.
You were the first guest to choose tea.
I love tea.
I love that. I don't have much selection. I basically have some Sencha green and I have some non-caffeinated pumpkin spice.
I'll do green. I like green.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you like your tea strong or like you want tea, you know what I mean? Or are you like a light tea?
I mean, I'll mix it up. It doesn't matter.
Mix it up?
Yeah,
Okay.
let's go strong.
Okay, let's go strong. For the strong man in the van.
Exactly. Trying to build my green tea tolerance.
Oh, do you care for honey in your tea?
Oh, yeah, that'd be nice.
All right. Actually, I'm going to match you. I was going to have coffee, but I'll fucking have tea as well.
Let's do it. I'm getting weird today.
Yeah. Bro, so you're a tea guy, huh?
Yeah.
Do you do like loose leaf and all that shit?
If I have it.
Yeah?
But, I usually tea packs.
Yeah. I'd like to get into that, to, you know.
It would be cool to like actually know how to do it all for
Yeah.
sure. But yeah, it's because of my dad. My dad's a big tea drinker. So whole life was always just different teas, you know.
Yeah.
Like when I was a kid, he was going through acupuncture school.
Okay.
And because he was also like running the gym full time with my mom, he broke it up. So he didn't go to school full time, which I guess the program would only have been about 2 years. So it took him like 5 years to do it because he really broke it up. But I was basically like, it was almost like my whole entire elementary school career basically was when he was in school.
Okay.
Like acupuncture school. So growing up was like him. Like I was his guinea pig for a lot of different things. So I tried a lot of like lots and lots of different herbs growing up. And most of the time, like, it was easier for me because I just like struggled with swallowing pills at the time because I was just such a cis.
I feel like it's a thing. Like I
Yeah.
also struggle with taking pills. I'm
Yeah.
like, how the fuck can people do this?
Now I'm like, it's obviously not a problem. I can do it now, but because of that, he broke up a lot of the herbal like capsules into teas.
Okay.
So I had a lot of different teas growing up, and then his main thing was always like green tea. You know, from teaching long nights at the school.
Yeah.
Which is like I do that now when I have days I got to teach a bunch. I'll have green tea just to go through it, you know, because I like the warmth. It's good for your throat. And
Yeah.
So.
Definitely, man.
I'll do it in the mornings too. Like I had tea this morning too.
What kind of tea did you have this morning?
Green tea.
Is that your staple that you just pretty much fuck with?
Yeah,
that?
I mean that's just the one I have.
Green tea because you got your Poway green on. This fool's trying to start a war already.
You see that?
James Logan wrestling, baby.
See that?
Sorry, we're not as good as Poway.
James Logan.
Also, while we're here, this is Jordan Barker. Jordan, the people. Jordan. It's so funny. I now what I do is I preheat water and I put it in a hydro flask because it like takes long to heat. And plus, when I like have it on the kettle for a very long time, it gets hot as fuck in the van.
I bet. Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Right.
Everything's just like boxed in.
Actually, we should turn this fan on. Hopefully, it's not too loud for you guys listening on the other side of the internet, wherever that side is.
Whatever that side is.
Do you like honey with your tea?
Yeah.
Or do you keep it straight?
Yeah, honey's good. I always struggle with getting like the proper portion or ratio of honey to tea, where it's like, you know, like dang, I put honey in here, but I don't taste any of it, and like the last part of it is just straight honey. You're like,
like it never got mixed in.
Yeah, I'm terrible at mixing it.
Oh, you know.
I gotta work on that. How long have you had the van?
I've been living in it for almost 3 years.
Wow, really? Almost 3 years?
Yeah, February would be 3 years.
Same van?
Same van. I bought it I bought it a little bit before that. I think it was June of 2021.
Yeah.
I bought the van, but I didn't move into it until February of 22 because I still needed to get it built out. Like I bought it as an empty cargo van. I had a vision that I wanted. Like I wanted this Japanese tea house vibe. So I found a builder. Shout out to Vominos Vans. I just spilled fucking hot water everywhere.
Nice.
Shout out to Vominos Vans. They built the van. Ben and Hannah over there do a fantastic job.
So this is all you then, all your idea and then putting it in.
Well, there's still a little bit of them. Just like in the same fact of like, say you're gonna get a tattoo.
Yeah.
And you have an idea of what you want, but then like the tattoo artist kind of like, you know, adds their own little artistic influences or flair to it.
Yeah.
So there were things like I think in the initial like brainstorming, I actually wanted the kitchen to be this way, but then it's like, no, I want access here, or like, I think I want this, or he's like, no, you think you want that? He's like, but I've lived in a van before, like it's not as, you know, like it looks cute on Instagram, but like, bro, it's not realistic, it's not practical.
Yeah.
So I was thankful to have him kind of like guide me and point me in different directions.
That's cool.
And then he was able to like find, you know, sources and materials that matched what I wanted. He knew I wanted this Japanese tea house vibe and kind of this whole thing, and even finding like this like stone, you know, this like a really thin stone, like this is kind of coming off right here, so you can kind of feel it, but you know, to kind of match the motif of whatever it is that we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for the most part, it's me. This was like the vision I had. I wanted to create this, even the space over here where it's like these two separate.
Yeah, it's kind of,
you know,
cool.
because if it was, I could have basically, instead of having the storage underneath you, I could have had the storage up top like this, and then this kind of gets sunk down.
Yeah.
But I wanted the feeling to be like when you're sitting here, it's like you're just in this different little.
Yeah, a little elevated.
Yeah. Almost like the opposite of, you know, like those like in the 70s they had those like conversation pits.
Yeah.
Where it like comes down, but like obviously like the other direction, because I'm in a van, you can't go fucking go into the road.
Be dragging your butt on the floor.
Black or white, sir?
Doesn't even matter.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. I'm cool with whatever.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's probably really fucking hot.
I don't want to choose between black or white.
Make me choose for you.
Yeah.
That's all right. I'll do that. I'll make the decisions. Oh. Cool, man.
Sweet.
Welcome in. Welcome in.
Thank you.
I'll cheers you. It's probably really hot.
Yeah. Let's cheers and put it down.
Just fucking leave that for a second here.
Yeah.
Okay, dude. So you just started fight camp this week?
Yeah, yesterday. Well, I guess technically yesterday, but been training always, you know.
Yeah. So you're what, like 7 or 8 weeks out? Kind
Roughly.
of? Roughly.
Yeah.
Because there's no date.
There's no date. There's no person. It's
no
just,
date, no person.
They're just like, hey, you know, be ready around this time. And so, trying to be a little proactive. So start it now. I always say that I would like to have, 8 weeks, but sometimes we're not given that luxury.
Yeah.
And so I figured if I know it's going to be around this time, either January or February, it's like, you know what, let's just start it now. It gives me roughly 7, 8, maybe 9 or 10 weeks, depending on the actual date. And then that way, when I find out who it is and where, then, that doesn't even matter. It's just like, at least we're in the right headspace.
Yeah, you're en route already. Your body's ready. But I mean, this is not the first time that you've kind of been in this space, right? Because you were supposed to have a few fights last year.
Yeah.
Or like, hey, get ready for this date, or potentially we're gonna have you here or there, and you kind of just go through this roller coaster of like training. Okay, come down a little bit. Training, come down a little bit. Okay, that fell through. Like.
Yeah, this year was a lot different than last year. Where like last year, I had 4 fights total. Pretty much knew about all of them for the most part. And then this year was supposed to fight in May. But I pulled out because that's when I got hurt, and then I was supposed to go. I obviously had to like take time off from that technically.
To heal.
Yeah, to heal, and then let's see. Then I was supposed to do. They actually wanted me to do October, and I think it was in Salt Lake City. But I had already scheduled my Thailand trip.
Which I'm excited to talk about in a bit, but keep going.
Yeah. So that was kind of like it's also kind of a way for me to like add an extra like I guess month of just training and getting back to it. Because that's the thing, right? If you fight in October, then you should probably be back into training pretty hard by like end of August.
Right.
And then my fight that was supposed to happen in May was just May, so it's like that only gives me like a couple months of like healing, and then it's like right back into it.
Yeah.
and I just wasn't mentally ready for that. And then, yeah, did the Thailand trip, but part of the Thailand trip was because they really did want me by December. Well, I told them, I was like, look, anytime after October, like I'll do it after the trip. I'm game for whatever. Originally it was supposed to be December, and they announced it was like Abu Dhabi, which obviously is kind of a commute, but I was like, that'd be cool. Like, let's just do it.
But
like,
I mean, dude, the experience of being like, yeah, bro, I fun Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, it's just that'd be so cool. And so that's when I was like, went out to Thailand, and the plan was October in Thailand, come back November, back home, train, do all that, and then go to Abu Dhabi. And then being in Thailand, they announced that they were having a card in Thailand in November. So I was like, hey guys, like I'm already here. I'll extend my stay a couple weeks if that means I can be on that card. And they're like, oh yeah, cool. Like we'll try to find you somebody. They found me someone, but he said no to the fight, which was, we were all kind of like not sure why, because he was originally scheduled against another guy, but that guy got a call to do something in Asia, like the Road to UFC.
Okay.
It's something they do out there, like it's not like Ultimate Fighter, but I think they like kind of like Contender Series out here. But they like put you on like cards. I don't know if that's just how they do it in Asia.
Yeah.
But basically, he got the call to have one of those fights.
Yeah.
Which is obviously it's a big deal if your path is if you're trying to go to UFC.
Right.
So that guy pulled out, and then that was right actually about the time where I asked about fighting on that card, and they're like, "Hey, we got somebody."
So yeah, it'd be nice to just send me right in.
Yeah.
Plug
and
and
then
play.
they sent me the guy. I was like, "Cool, let's do it." And then that guy turned me down. So yeah, we don't really know why, but it is what it is. And then, so that fell through for November. They tried to find me someone in those first few days, but they were doing, Karate Combat was dealing a lot with, there's a lot of drama between Karate Combat and One Championship.
I know, I see that online, dude.
And so there was a lot of stuff going on with that where they were already dealing with a lot of, I guess, just the behind the scenes of trying to get some of the Thai fighters on the fight card. And I guess there was a lot of stuff where one was, I guess, trying to keep the card from happening. And so just all that kind of was happening, and I was just like basically gonna be filling for the most part, but I was like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah.
And so they ended up not finding anyone, and then they're like, hey, we'll just get you on the December card. Or at least they were gonna try to, which was supposed to be in Abu Dhabi. That changed to Miami, which is gonna be in a couple weeks. So that was supposed to be, so it was originally right Abu Dhabi December 7th. Then it changed to Miami December 7th, and then now it's Miami like December 19th. So a lot of moving parts with a lot of things. And then when I got back in the States, I reached out again. I was like, hey, like, you think I'm gonna be on the card? And they're like, hey, like, we try to get you on, and we actually had to like cut a few fights off because it was already like a full card, especially the end of the year card. And they try to hit it hard. So they were just like, we'll just get you like first quarter next year, like January, February, just be ready. So that's where we're at now.
How are you okay, like, mentally with that? Like, I mean, because you're always training. Like,
Yeah,
we're always training.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
whether we have a fight or not, like, we're on the mat. Like,
Yeah.
we're going to this. But, like,
Yeah.
the mental roller coaster, like, is that easy for you to navigate? Or is it, like...
At first, no. Because, like, for me, the biggest issue was after my fight last December was, right, you get labeled pro fighter. And in my head, it was my first time being a pro fighter. I never wanted to be a pro fighter. It was never like I believe that was something I was ever going to try and do. And then it kind of, everything kind of just happened the way it did. And then I was. And I'm over here, like, looking stuff up online, following different, like, pro fighters, like, vlogs, and seeing, like, how do they do this? Like, what is this like, So I was, like, basing a lot of, like, my feelings and, like, my mental process off of what they were doing, which they're in a completely different world than I am, because they weren't, like, I'm following, like, some UFC guys, some Bellator guys, some pro boxers. I'm like, how do they live? Like, what's their lifestyle like? How do they do this?
Yeah.
Me kind of just getting pushed into it. I was like, I need some help. I didn't really know what the heck I was doing, and which that ended up being the wrong thing to do, because I was comparing myself to them and like what they were doing.
Right.
And I was like, well, if I'm not doing what they're doing, then then I felt all just like, oh my God, it was just clustered in my head. Like, I'm not getting the right recovery. I'm not doing the right training. I'm and like everything became very negative, which is around the time of my fight in May, which leading up to that I was also just not in a great headspace, just because, I was dealing with some family drama at the time. And so so even after that, I was still just like, man, like, I'm a pro fighter. I'm supposed to be doing this, and that, and which is that's not me, because I was trying to do what these other guys were doing.
Right.
You know, like, what headspace are they in when they go into camp? What are they doing? When do they start camp? 10 weeks out, or how do these guys deal with short notice fights? And I realized that I was very much just like trying to do what everyone else was doing. And then basically once I left for like Thailand and I was out there, where all I had to focus on was just like training.
That's it. That's like your
and
whole
just be
fucking
healthy
life.
and
Yeah.
just enjoy it. That's where I kind of like clicked back into like me, where I felt like I was just like clouded with some stuff throughout the whole year.
Yeah.
Where plus, you know, just in terms of like the family issues we were dealing with earlier, like things have gotten a lot better too. So like that was a weight off my shoulders.
Sure.
And I think work stuff for me was, you know, I mean, anytime you don't have to work is kind of nice.
Yes,
So being out there, you know, not having to work is great.
Yeah, and in Thailand.
huge relief off my shoulders. Just a huge weight, and so yeah, I was just able to. I felt like for the first time, at least in 2024, I like snapped back into being me, which was awesome, because I felt like very just free again, and I felt very like, dude, like it never really, the fighting and the competition and stuff, like when I had those fights last year, it didn't really matter who it was. It didn't really matter where
Okay,
it
so
was.
those 4 fights last year,
Yeah.
because I helped you get ready for the one in December,
Yeah.
which was your pro debut.
Yeah.
Right? So that's actually when I met Jordan, was last December of 23. The timing was at the end of the year. I was telling our coach, Carl, that like I was just missing striking. I spent the whole year 2023 just focusing on jiu-jitsu. But it was cool. I ended up, you know, winning a world title at the end of the year. Masters, but a world title nonetheless.
Hey, we'll take it. Take it.
But yeah, so I met Jordan in December, and I mean, we just clicked right away. The whole karate, I mean, Kaji Kempo, like Kempo,
Yeah.
that whole, all of that, all the nerdy 80s karate vibes was just like, we spoke the same language.
Hell yeah.
So that's when I met him. He was getting ready for his pro debut, but you fought 3 times before that, 4 karate combat.
2 of them weren't. That was that amateur like Kumite tournament.
Yeah.
The first fight I had was in April. That was a Muay Thai fight.
Oh,
it was one
okay.
of the US MTO tournament in Arizona. Originally I was gonna fight October of 2022. That was gonna be my first fight, I guess, like with Carl and Steele. And that was like basically my first fight, like actual fight since I was a teenager. So it would have been like, I don't know, 12 years, 11 years. But I wanted to do it just to have a fight.
How old are you right now?
31.
31.
So I was like 29, I think, when that first fight was supposed to happen.
And you hadn't competed since you were like 17?
Yeah,
18,
anything
something
like
that.
full contact. Like I had I think the last full contact fight I had was like a smoker. That was actually out in Texas in my mom's gym. And I was like incredibly sick, and like, you know, I filled in against a pretty big dude. I did fine, you know, it was, you know, but that was like the last one, and then I kind of just went off and did what regular, I guess not, I don't say regular people, but what most people do. I just started working, and I still trained here and there, but I just completely gave up the competition side, at least any fighting stuff.
Yeah.
I did a couple like karate tournaments, like when I was like 19, 20. I did do a jiu-jitsu tournament when I was like 21, just because I had like some credits to an old tournament, and I was like, I just need to use them.
Some credits.
Yeah, like I did, you know, I couldn't compete.
I got a gift card.
Literally,
can I
yeah.
sign up late reg for this tournament?
Yeah, it was that was it NABJJF Worlds. It was like that at the Pyramid.
Okay.
I did like a no-gi, like intermediate. I got a medal, so that was cool. It's a really nice medal. It's like super big, but that's my no-gi tournament experience.
Hell yeah, dude.
I just wrestled the whole time, but it worked.
Wrestling works, bro.
It worked.
Wrestling works.
Couple
Wrestling's
snap
great.
downs
Yeah.
and hit on
Yeah.
some chokes. That's all
Yeah.
I needed. But yeah, other than that, though, I hadn't really done anything. And then started training at Carl's a few years back. You know, we reconnected. I knew him from years ago when he first moved down from the Bay Area. He trained up at my dad's gym.
Okay, so that's perfect that you brought that up, because
Yeah.
I was going to ask you like how that connection happened.
Yeah, so we were pretty big in right now, like my dad's school is it's Poway martial arts. Originally it was like Poway Kempo karate when it was just karate. Then we added the boxing club Poway, and then we had like a full MMA program. So it was like Poway MMA, like that was who we were. That was our name. Pretty decent like Muay Thai program, good coach. MMA stuff was picking up a lot more. I think that was around the time of when the whole like UFC really picked up, like Ultimate Fighter type stuff. So it was like catching some heat.
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu, gi jiu-jitsu was pretty big at that time. No gi was kind of getting there, I feel like. So, and this was probably 15, 16 years ago. Like I was probably about 15, 16. I don't remember the exact age, but yeah, I was in a couple years into wrestling at Poway, and then I don't even remember why. I might have just been forced to do it, to be honest, but I wanted to do it. Like pancration was big, but the pancration rule set at the time, it was literally just full contact MMA, but no head contact whatsoever.
Okay.
So it was like just an MMA fight, you just can't hit to the head. Wrestling, jiu-jitsu, we wore regular like 6-ounce or 4-ounce gloves, no shin guards. It was just regular fighting. I did that for like a summer when I was like 16. And then that's around the time when I think Carl probably signed up around then, or he moved down here. And yeah, I mean, we trained together. We never like sparred together. We weren't like crazy close. I know him and my dad had a good relationship because Carl has like that Taekwondo background.
Yeah.
So I know my dad was always, anytime there's somebody who's got some sort of traditional martial arts background, my dad is like, has to put his 2 cents into everything.
Yeah. No, when I met your dad, I could tell he was like really passionate about that.
Yeah. Especially people like, like understand the lingo.
Yeah.
And I know Carl was one of those guys. So I know they had a good relationship. And I think Carl was probably there for about a year or so until the head coach at that time, he left, and then Carl left with them.
Okay.
So we knew each other. And then, a few years ago, fast forward, I think it was, I don't know if it was it might have been 2020 or 2021. They started doing those the PKBs, those point kickboxing fights or tournaments around town, and I was coaching some guys at my gym. They wanted to compete in it. I was like, let's go do it. I even signed up just because I was like, man, that'd be cool. Like, I was trying to be a good good leader for them too. Like, hey, I'm willing to go do it too.
They're more excited to compete because you're competing as well. That whole thing.
And I hadn't competed in forever, and I was like, should make sure the stuff I'm teaching isn't crap, so let me go try to do my best.
Let's see if this works, guys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's where I saw Carl for the first time in probably 12, 13 years at the time. Him, my brother, my dad, we all saw him. We talked for a bit, and then that was it. That was like November, I want to say of 2022. And fast forward a few months later, I did another one of those PKBs, in January of 2023. January of 2020. I'm getting all the years mixed up. November of 21 is when I did that first one, when I reconnected with Carl.
Okay.
January of 22 is where I did the second PKB, and I did that with one of my other guys too, who wanted to compete, and I was like, F it, let's go do another one. Just like, this is fun. And then literally the next month after that February, I hit up Carl on Instagram, and it was just like, hey man, I don't know if you have like openings for privates, but I'd love to just get like some pad work in, and get some work, the whole, I felt very, I knew I had a lot of room for improvement.
Right.
And I was the head coach at my dad's gym. And, you can't get much better if you're...
Yeah, big fish in a small pond.
Yeah, and so I hit him up, and he's like, yeah, man, let's do it. And he's like, are you trying to fight, or is it just to work out or train? I was like, I just to train. I had no intentions of fighting at all. That was February of 22.
Okay, so February 22. You can keep talking. I'm just gonna. Oh yeah, I forgot to light this candle.
Oh yeah, let's get lit.
Let's get lit.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm still figuring out this podcast thing, learning as I go. Okay, so 22. You said February?
Yeah, February 22. That's where we started training. So I started doing PTs twice a week with him.
But still no intention to fight. I just want to train. I just want to increase my skill set because you're a lifelong martial artist.
Yeah, that and. There's 2 PKBs, which, I won both, but I was also like, I feel like I should have done a lot better. Like, I'm a lot more experienced than these guys that I was going against, and I just felt like there was some basic things that I was like, man, there's things I should be better at.
Yeah.
And especially I'm trying to teach these guys who want to fight too. And I don't want to put them into a dangerous position where they get hurt because of something like I just didn't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna pretend like I know. Hey, do it like this, and it's like not legit.
Yeah, and so
because there is so much of that out there.
There's a lot.
That's
probably one of my biggest fears, with going off of the me not competing for a long time, was I had this fear of competing and because when you fight or you compete in anything, you're vulnerable.
Yeah, dude.
The truth always comes out.
Yep.
Type thing, right? And for me, I relied for a good portion of my life, not a whole thing, but not the whole thing, but I went off of just pure athleticism and just being like just good with it.
Which, to be fair, you're fucking extra athletic.
Thank you, appreciate that. But a lot of it, at least, wasn't like me actually like putting the work in and trying to like just like actually like I want to be the best type.
Yeah.
It was purely off of me just. I'm good. I don't need to train. Like I can do this.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, you grew up in a martial arts school.
I'll be fine. Yeah, I've had so much training, but I wasn't taking, I guess, seriously, if you want to say. And so, and I knew it even through my 20s, like I wasn't going to take it seriously. So I just didn't compete because I was afraid of going out to do something, a fight or a tournament or whatever competition, and being like, and everyone seeing the truth that like, oh, he doesn't work hard, or like he's, you know, a fraud.
Yeah.
Certain things.
He's not as good as
as everyone says, or
yeah.
you know, or people, you know, or how I feel. Like I know I can be extremely good at this stuff, but it was also like I was limiting myself because of like what I believed, and you know, so like that was a big fear of mine. And then even when I started training at Carl's, like I didn't want to fight because I didn't want to put myself out there. Really, was the whole thing. You know, like my whole life, it's, you know, being the youngest of 5 siblings, right? Having my family's school, which is older than me, right? You know, my older sibling Josh, he was like,
is he the oldest?
no, he's the middle.
He's the middle. Okay.
Yeah. The 2 oldest, they did martial arts back in the day, but you know, they're a little bit older. They got like families and lives and stuff. They're regular. They're normal. Like
we don't have families or lives. We just
yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
punch each other in the face.
Yeah, they live a much smarter life.
Yeah.
They have their brain cells, but
go ahead.
oh no, yeah. So I was just saying that it's just like my brother, who like when he was coming through the system, and he was like the guy, right? He won every tournament. He fought like some amateur kickboxing fights as a teenager. He started wrestling up Howie for a bit. He was really, really good. He just had a very bad back injury, which kept him from finishing that. But he was always just incredible at all of it. Like I've always said, that my brother Josh is hands down the best martial artist in our family. He's so clean with everything he does. He's very, very intelligent. Like he's got like the athleticism and like movement of, I guess, me, but he's got like the wisdom and the like intelligence of like our dad, who's very, very just like
cerebral.
Yes, and my brother has both of those. I have like the physical part, but I'm just a little more like wild with some things. Where he was very technical, very detailed, very like crisp, no mistakes ever. And so, but then he was also like my main instructor growing up, and then you have me coming up.
What's the age difference between you two?
10 years.
Oh man, we have such a similar path.
Yeah.
I mean, there's obviously things that are different, but it's like my brother. It's just me and him.
Yeah.
But he's 11 years older than me. And he was also the guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Winning all the tournaments, wrestling tournaments, karate tournaments, and like wanting to be just like him or looking up to him.
Yeah.
Growing up in a martial arts school, like that's probably why we clicked really easily. It was just like, man, we have a very similar upbringing. Wrestling,
Yeah.
all the things.
All the things, yeah.
Okay, so then when was the point, right? You're hooking up with Carl.
Yeah.
You're obviously wanting to improve your skill set because you're just this lifelong martial artist. You don't want to, teach false techniques, whatever. You just want your own self-improvement in the craft.
Yeah.
What was the turning point of like, I want to fight? Or was it a decision in your mind? Was it someone voluntold you to do some type of competition and then you just fell into it?
It was I think I had been training with Carl for probably about a month or two. I want to say at least 2 months, and he had mentioned like coming in and sparring. He's like, hey, I got some guys around your size, like, it'd be great for them to like, move around with you, like if you could. And I was like, sure. Like I hadn't really sparred in a long time. I mean, besides sparring my own guys, which it's levels to it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, what the heck? So I came in one of the Friday night sparrings. Most of the people there didn't know me. I'd been training there for a couple months just because I did training during like the mornings with Carl. I just did PTs really, and I don't think I did any classes at the time. Like I was just there for that. A lot of that was just because of like scheduling. I just couldn't make the other days. But so I went there, and yeah, I sparred. I mean, pretty much every guy I sparred at the time, even now, still they're either pro fighter or they're just very high level amateur fighters. I kind of went through the gauntlet that day, and a lot of it too is like I'm the new guy.
Yeah.
You're either like, oh, this dude's a karate dude, right? Some try to beat me up, and most guys I went
you
against.
Kick the shit out of them.
I did pretty good. Yeah, I did pretty good.
Toss some side kicks.
I did pretty good.
Frustrated.
Yeah. And And then like that night, like there was a lot of it though I held back on just because I didn't know everybody.
Yeah,
you know?
you're the
I
new
don't know
guy.
the
You
rules.
still want to be respectful, but you
Yeah,
still gotta
yeah.
like, you know, I'm not trying to get beat up.
Yeah,
or
I'm not trying to get beat up, but it's
yeah.
also like I don't know. I'm not trying to hurt anybody. And,
Right.
You know, and that night Carl texted me and he was like, dude, like, I forgot exactly what he said, but he's like, hey man, you have full permission to just like beat the living crap out of all these guys. Like, let it go.
I can hear him say that.
Yeah,
too,
yeah. And I was like, okay. So I went back the next week. Went to get some different guys, a couple of the same guys, but I kind of let it fly a little more. And I just, you know, kind of turned it on, that felt great because I hadn't felt that in a long time.
Yeah.
We were just like, you just get that like fire in you. It took one of the guys, he actually head kicked me. And I was like, oh God.
Oh God.
And then, you know, ego wise and competitive wise, I was like, that was really sick, but like, you're never going to land that again on me.
Yeah.
And even to this day, it's been a few years and that certain person has never kicked me again.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I just kind of went off, and then Carl, like, later that night, he's like, dude, I don't know if you know this, but, like, and he told me each guy's, like,
Records
resume,
or
yeah, and
what
all
they
this
do
stuff.
or, yeah.
You know, I had fought him forever. It was the second time sparring, like, actual sparring in probably a decade. And then that's where it kind of started. He's like, dude, like, pretty effing good at this stuff, man. And I was kind of like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, I hadn't felt, or no one had told me or given me any, like, sort of confidence in that, like I could do it.
Right.
You know? And I'm at the time, right? I think it was 28 or 29. Like, I know I'm not old, but in fighter terms,
you're an older athlete.
Getting
for sure.
up there, and that's kind of where it started. And so that was like probably like Mayish, and then fast forward to like June, July, I got some more sparring in, started doing all that. I was getting better, getting more comfortable with certain things, and then I was like, dude, like I just want to have one. Like just give me one fight. That's all I want to do. So we tried to do the October card that year for WCK here in town, which was would have like been great, San Diego and all that. I was on the card, sold a crap ton of tickets, and then 2 days before, the promoter just kind of dropped the ball on it. Ended up somehow giving my opponent to somebody else, and so I didn't. Basically, not long story short, I didn't fight on that card. And then it went into like holiday season, and at the time I was still running my dad's gym, and holidays are just busy. We have sales and events, and it's just a lot of chaos going on. So I told Carl, I was like, you know, I'm good, but like we'll try again something next year.
Yeah.
And he brought up, he's like, well, let's sign up for one of the tournaments. He's like, you're guaranteed to get at least one fight, you know, because it's a bracket. There's more than one fighter.
Right.
If someone pulls out or gets hurt, you'll still just
It's
get
still
one
tournament
fight.
style.
And that was the whole thing. And I was like, okay, cool. So that's when April of 23, we did the USMTO tournament, and same thing. It was just like, let's just get a fight. And basically, I had one fight. I won it. I made it to the finals, but I didn't compete in the finals just because my elbow threw my elbow out in that first fight. But I got that one fight, and I was like, dude, this is sweet. Like, this is fun. It was challenging. It was hard. It was all the above. The guy was much taller than me. You know, I had to cut real weight for the first time since like senior year of high school. Like, I hadn't been that weight.
What weight did you wrestle in high school?
Well, senior year, I was like 130, 131, around there. That was the lowest I had been. And then when I got to the tournament, the weight class was 132, where the original fight that was in October was 135. I was like, I can make 135, but as you know, those last 2-3 pounds are brutal.
Brutal.
Yeah, and so got down to like 131. I look like death, but yeah, we did the whole thing. You know, the weight, the fight, did all correctly. You know, I was landing some cool stuff in it. You know, and I was proud of my performance. You know, and I was just more proud that I actually did it, and that nobody told me to do it. It was purely like I wanted to do it, and I was like, I want to just.
Isn't that such a great feeling?
It's crazy. It's so nice.
You know, because I would assume that there's been a lot of things that you've done where you were told to do it, right?
Yeah, almost everything.
Almost everything.
Wrestling. Yeah. Tournaments. Like that's the one thing. Like I wanted. Like my dad made me wrestle at Poway, and he's like, look, I just want you to do your freshman year, and I wanted every day in wrestling. I wanted to quit. Like I was waiting for the end of the season to quit, and then end of season came, and I just didn't want to be known as a quitter, so I just finished wrestling. You know, my mom will even say to this day, like, you know, I'll joke about it, like, oh, she made us do stuff, and she's like, no, I made you do everything.
Yeah.
When it came to tournaments and karate and fighting, and obviously looking back on it now, like,
right, grateful, right? Because like look at all the skill sets you have, look at all the experiences you had.
Such a cool life.
But just in the space of like making your own decisions, like it's a very empowering feeling.
Yeah.
You know, like even when I chose to like take this Bellator fight, like nobody was like, Bellator didn't reach out to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They didn't say like, hey, do you want to fight? Why would they reach out to me? I haven't fought in fucking 12 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like who
True,
the
yeah,
fuck
yeah.
am I? You know?
Yeah.
But it was like something I wanted to do, you know, and I reached out, and even when I was like talking with Carl, we were talking about, oh, hit up Jordan, let's get you on Karate Combat, like, bro, your style is so perfect for that.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Especially it just kind of satisfies the nerdy karate kid in me, you know what I mean? Like, even when you're like,
It's
I
fun.
competed in the Kumite, like,
Yeah.
oh, bro, you competed in the Kumite? Like,
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean?
That's a cool one.
Yeah. But then it was like, man, I really want to do this. And actually, like, none of my coaches are necessarily encouraging me to do it or, hey, what do you think about this? It was like, I'm going to go reach out to Bellator and I'm going to see how I can get on this card.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do it. And like, just that feeling of making the decision yourself, like, I want to do this and I'm going to go do this and I'm going to be committed to it. It's like, it's such an empowering feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very, very like, yeah, it's empowering. It's you just feel really effing good about it, you know? And it's like, right, like the outcome doesn't matter, you know, it didn't matter, still doesn't matter, really, you know, obviously we want to win, but, you know, I was like, you know, like, in terms of like, you know, trying to do these fights and then be a good like leader and role model for the guys I'm coaching and the kids I'm coaching, you know, like, I want them to know, right, that like, he went out there, he did it, you know, and he did it because like, he wanted to, and you know, because like I love doing it, you know, and that part was absent from my life for a long time. With just like, you know, the urge to compete. It was more I was so afraid of the outcome of things, winning or losing or just feeling vulnerable, to where when it came around to like the first couple fights, I was just like, man, like, you know, this is cool. Like, this is really cool.
Look, I actually really like this.
I really like this, you know, and it's really hard, but you know, that was I was very proud of myself for doing that. And you know, like my dad didn't tell me to do it, my mom didn't tell me to do it, my brother didn't, no one told me to do anything. Carl didn't even tell me to do it.
Yeah.
But they all supported everything I did, which
Yeah.
was great, you know. And that was probably one of the first tournaments or any competition besides the jiu-jitsu one I did where I had no family present. Like blood family.
Yeah.
You know, Carl's my family. Anybody that's still in my family.
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
I did have a couple of my best friends who actually lived in Arizona, who I grew up with doing karate. We all got like black belts together. They did show up, and that was like, I had a little bit of like my Power Kempo karate family there. I was like, dude.
Yeah.
And just, you know, we, like one of the guys, my buddy Alex, like he was a couple years older than me, but he was always like a year or two ahead of me in terms of ranks, but we grew up together. We did every tournament, every demonstration throughout the community together. We did almost every test together. We went to the same schools, you know, like all of it together. And him being there and knowing that, like, because he knew all the stuff I went through with, you know, just how hard it was with just like certain expectations and you know, like there was like a group of us like guys, or not just guys, like a few girls too, where we were like the competition team. We went to everything. And Alex was one of like the main guys on that. And for him to be there and then like come see me after and be like, dude, like he's like, I know it's been years, man. And he's like, I know what it was like. And like just knowing that, like, he was like so proud of just like, not even me winning, he's like just proud of me like as a friend. And that was really cool to kind of experience. Like I hadn't experienced that. It was more just a lot of things were based off of just outcome of the fights or tournaments, where just having somebody there who understands me from the beginning,
Right.
and all the stuff, knows everyone in my family, knows all the crap, anything that's ever happened, good and bad.
Yeah, they watched you go through all of it.
Yeah, he went through with me.
Yeah,
you know,
a parallel
and
path.
so that was a really cool kind of like, I was like, man, like it really doesn't matter what happens.
Yeah.
You know, my friends, my family still be there type thing. And so that was a big moment doing that Muay Thai fight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're here, present day, right? You're a pro fighter now, bro.
Oh God, don't remind me.
It's funny how we put labels on ourselves,
Yeah.
and how like that changes our perception or who we think we are,
Yeah.
or even if it's a label of like, maybe it's a lesser label, maybe it's like, and I don't mean a lesser label like it's not something that's word like, oh, I'm a garbage man, and we have this label that's like, oh, I'm not really good enough, I don't have a real job, and then we like make ourselves feel bad because of this label we gave ourselves, or we put this pressure on ourselves like, oh, I'm this pro fighter, I have to be this, and if I'm not doing that, I'm not good enough. I'm not doing all the XYZs that need to happen to be this pro fighter. So So now that you are this pro fighter and you have kind of like rekindled your love for competition, or obviously you never kind of really left the mat in terms of like you were still teaching, and you still wanted to like grow as a martial artist. But what is your goal with fighting right now?
I got a few different. I mean, most of it's just want to do it because I can. I think when I first got, like, even before I had that first Muay Thai fight, I was watching Karate Combat, and I was like, man, I did at that time be like, I could totally like be the champ in that. Like, I think I could. So originally it was like, yeah, that'd be cool. And then when all the stuff happened, they reached out and everything, I was like, oh man, that'd be cool, like to be like Karate Combat champ. And then the last year of all the ups and downs with like fighting and then pulling out and then, you know, different locations, different fights, and then moving, doing all that kind of stuff. It was just a good reminder, and like how I said, like snapping back into myself, where with the fighting, like it really honestly being a world champ for it, Karate Combat, really anything is not really that important to me. And to where I think, especially not having had a fight happen at all this year, it kind of put back into me like what was important, and that was just like, you know, having the opportunity to compete and do all that. So the main goal is just like I just want to fight just to do it, you know. Like I'm very big. A lot of things I do in my life, I feel like, at least as of recent, has been like, you know, like that's gonna make for a cool story someday, and that's like important to me.
Yeah.
And especially now, you know, like I'm a single guy. I'm not married. I don't have kids. Like I have the freedom to go travel for these things. I have the freedom to put more time into that, a little less responsibilities when it comes down to that, you know.
Yeah.
Like I got a dog, but he's older. He doesn't require a lot of attention, and you know, and so it's not like I gotta like take him and do this stuff all the time. Where usually he's pretty good for the most part. You know, thankfully I got like my friends who help out with him too. But when it comes to just like the freedom of everything, like, you know, I have this chance to go do this.
Hell yeah.
And so for me, it's really taking advantage of that, and then it's doing the stuff that always feared me, which is putting myself out there and doing that. I was like, I do know like the quality of man that I want to be in my life, and it's like I don't get there if I don't do this. So for me, it's a lot more for like my future self and then future family.
I love that, man.
And all that. Because I never really thought about that. You know, maybe that's probably most people right in our 20s. It's very like selfish and in the moment, where I was just doing everything for me.
Yeah.
Like just that instant gratification type stuff or whatever it was. Where now it's like, man, like 31, I'll be 32 in May. You know, hopefully by then I can have at least one, God willing, have 2 fights by then. But you know, I only got a few years of this where I actually want to do it. Like I really have no intentions of fighting past 35. If I could be done at 34, I will. But I want it to be like, I'm good.
Yeah, I made my run. I had my experience. I put myself in the fire.
Yeah.
I allowed myself to be vulnerable and
Yeah.
do the things that I was scared of, and that helped me grow as a man.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah. So that's really what's like important to me is fighting because of the lessons I know I'll learn through the camps and the fights, and not just lessons in martial arts, but lessons about myself, about just internally, right? The emotional side of it, the spiritual, the mental side. I think the physical stuff, that's the beautiful thing with martial arts, is that like we'll always learn something.
Yep.
You know, whether you're fighting or not fighting. So for me, it's like, you know what? Let's dive deep into this chapter right now of fighting. Let's push it hard, you know, and if there's any moment where it's like, I think I've learned what I can learn from this now, let's just move on to the next thing, then I will.
Okay, so what do you think at this point is the greatest thing you've learned in this journey to fighting again or having that fight or all these things? What's the greatest thing you've learned not martial arts wise so far, about whether it's about yourself or you talk about mentally, spiritually, like?
Probably just the being capable of doing hard things. Again, going back to I relied on my athleticism for a lot of things because I didn't want to put in the hard work to get to a certain point, so I just avoided it a lot of the times. Where now it's like, you know, if it's hard, you should probably do it, you know, and knowing that I can do it, and knowing that like things are going to get harder, doesn't scare me as much anymore. Where the fear is always going to be there,
right?
But it's the whole, I mean, whatever the saying is, it's like bravery, right? It's
not the absence of fear. It's like kind of you're going to the fear anyways. Like
Yeah,
something along those lines.
Something along those lines, and it's, for me, like that's a big one where I really did let fear kind of limit myself, and knowing that, hey, dude, like, stuff's gonna be hard. Training's gonna be hard. You're gonna get hurt. You're gonna be emotionally drained. You're gonna, not be able to do certain things you want to do because you're training or you're fighting or whatever it is. But right now, this is what's important.
Yeah.
And these moments of hardships are what's gonna like make the next stuff like all worth it.
Yeah.
And so it's just it's knowing that I can do it is the big one, and doing it again because I want to do it, and not because I have a coach or family members or friends, somebody just on my ass about it saying, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. Like,
Yeah, you're so good, bro. You should fight.
Yeah.
And then you feel this pressure to do it. But it's like, was that actually my decision, or like somebody else's decision? And I'm kind of.
Yeah. I very much, move to the beat of my own drum, and that's like something accepting where it's like people know, like, I like, even like right now, like, I can walk away from all of this right now, and I'll probably be totally content with certain things. I'll find another route to do something else, but like, I don't have to be here right now in terms of just like getting ready for a fight or trying to put myself into camp, like, just to get ready for something, like, I very much, it's a very much like, I want to do it. I want to give it my all. I want to know that, like, when I look back on this, that like you went for it, regardless of what happens in the fights. Just like, as right, the growth from beginning of fight camp to the end of fight camp.
Bro,
right?
It's tremendous.
Yeah, as opposed to even then.
It's like hyperspeed growth in all things, physically, mentally, spiritually,
and then
emotionally.
the fight too, right? The growth from the beginning of the fight to the end of the fight, and then the growth between camps, and then like all these things kind of like they all compounds, and it's where like, man, the growth of beginning in 2024 to me now, that's the thing. Like, me in January of 24 versus me now, it's like, holy crap! Like, what a change in so many parts of my life, and and go through each one of those things, and so that's where my head is kind of at, where it's like, I'm excited to see the growth, really.
Yeah.
And again, knowing that like, you did this because you wanted to, and you wanted to give it your all. So,
dude, fuck yeah. Okay, so speaking of growth, because I wanted to ask you this earlier, but we just going into different areas as things go. Thailand.
Yeah.
There's got to be a huge growth.
Yeah, that was crazy.
You were there for a month?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so talking about that, you went to Bangtao, right?
Yeah.
You went to Bangtao. I'm assuming you did some research, or did someone tell you, like, go to this gym?
Yeah, I did. I'd been wanting to go back to Thailand for a couple of years. I went as a teenager when I was like 16. I went to just for a few weeks with my dad and one of my best friends, who's also like my training partner, which was it was cool to have him there with me. But I went to Bangkok at the time for like a week or so, and then we went to I believe it's pronounced Chiang Mai. I could be messing it up, but we went there for like a week or two. But that was like that trip changed my life because, I was 16. I was a cocky American kid, like crushing everything in karate, black belt, did all this stuff, and then you go out there and you're just, life is different.
World is different.
Life is different, and it just.
Was that your first time out of the country?
Yeah, and that was huge.
Yeah.
That was such a monumental trip for me. So I've always had like that little like, Thailand's got a piece of my heart because of that.
Yeah, it changed me.
Yeah.
This experience changed my life. The way I see it, the way I perceive it.
And I still remember it all. I mean, this is probably 15 years ago, 16 years ago. Like, I still remember everything like crystal clear about that trip. I've been on several other trips around the States. I went to Bali a few years ago, not martial arts related. I don't remember like half the trip because it wasn't like this life-changing trip. I just went because I was like, this is what people do. Let's go find ourselves. And I found nothing. No, but so I wanted to go back to Thailand. I talked to a few guys that I knew had spent time out there. One of my friends, AJ Matthews, I think he lived out there for like 2 years.
Oh wow!
Out in Phuket, I think mainly. I don't know where else he went, but he mentioned it. And he's like, "Yeah, dude, look into it." Blah blah blah. And I was like, "Okay." So I just started looking into it. There was a few gyms. There was one of them I know, like I think Tiger Muay Thai's out there in Phuket. AKA Thailand is out there. Which like, when I went back in Bangkok, or back when I was 16 in Bangkok, like the gym is still there, but it's like very, very, very traditional Muay Thai gym. Like, we stayed at the gym, they had some like rooms there, and there's like no AC, there's a fan barely worked, in the middle of August, so it's like 90 degrees and humid. We have like basically a cardboard.
I've been in Thailand in August, it is hot as fuck,
it's like
bro.
Cardboard mattress basically, and it's just very uncomfortable. But this time around, I was like, I got to experience that. I would like to put more time and focus into just the training and not like trying to learn who I am by sleeping in a crappy like place. So AKA Thailand, like they have like beautiful gym, big facility, all the rooms and all that stuff. And then I saw Bang Tao, I think just on Instagram. And I honestly, what really got me there instead of like AKA was I like just like the colors that they have, which was, like their colors are
It's like bright neon
bright
almost,
and
right?
neon. I was like, that's kind of cool. Like I just thought that was cool. And then like their gym itself has a lot of like black and like gray, and I like how their like rooms just kind of looked. And then I knew, or that guy AJ had a buddy who had been out there before, and I followed him on Instagram, so I asked him about it. He's like, dude, yeah, blah blah blah. It's like, it's a great place, all this stuff, and I was like, all right, cool. So then basically I just looked at the like pricing and tried to figure it out from there, and I just pulled the trigger on it. Freaking place is awesome. It's paradise.
Dude, that's
And not even just like being in Phuket, Thailand. The gym itself is just freaking awesome.
yeah. And I was watching your stories and like the facilities. I'm like, this motherfucker out here living his best life.
It was awesome.
So what changed for you out there? Because earlier in the conversation, you mentioned basically like you kind of like realigned with yourself. You know what I mean? Kind of like snap back into who you are.
Yeah.
Because you were going through so much, I don't know if I want to call it turmoil, but there was a lot of different things that were happening in your life in the beginning of 2024.
Yeah.
Like you said, family stuff, fight stuff, like all the things, mentally not there, maybe going through some turmoil. And so you go to Thailand. Obviously, Thailand has a piece of your heart, right?
Yeah.
And you go there and you're able to just train, talk about like not working. Like you could just, this is what I love to do and I'm locked in.
Yeah.
So like, what did you find? Like this time you actually did find yourself.
I felt like you go to a place where you're not known. Like, not that I'm like famous out here, but like at Steel.
I don't know, bro. You got like 1 million pizza views and shit on that.
Actually, that's a funny video.
That is a really funny video.
that was pretty funny. But like, like at Steel, like, everyone knows who I am for the most part, just because I've been training there for a few years now.
Yeah.
Like Carl and I obviously like very close. My family's gym, everyone knows me. The gym I work at up in Oceanside, like, the guys know me because I'm a coach now.
Right.
So it's not like it's you go to these places and you have to have a certain face on. Where going to a place completely out of the way, and you're just somebody there. Like you're not like this crazy important figure that eyes are on. Or
Right.
people are relying on you to coach them and teach them stuff, or going in there, like for me, going into like training in certain places, like I have expectations where I'm just like, I gotta be better than everybody here. It's also like part of the competitive side, but also
I know
like
that feeling.
if I'm going to a place to spar and people like Carl's coming with me or my brother's with me, like I gotta like put it on, and we're going to Bang Tao, like there's none of that. There's place is huge, there's a lot of people there, a lot of great fighters, like a lot of more experienced fighters than me, a lot of people who don't even fight at all, like people are just there for vacation.
Yeah.
So I was able to go there with like zero expectations, and I think that was a big one, where there was nothing, like for me, it was kind of partially trying to get ready for a fight, but it was also, hey man, it's just like have fun, which is by far the most important thing in my life. Like if I'm not having fun, I will not do it.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the truth. It's just I have to have. I'm a fun person. I like to smile and make people smile and embarrass myself, and
No, you're definitely a fun person.
I like to say stupid crap all the time.
Honestly, when you're done fighting, you should get into comedy.
That'd be cool.
Whether it's stand-up comedy or like a little YouTube thing, like I feel like it just naturally fits your personality, anyways.
I'll keep that noted.
Note that, dog your that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean, like, you're kind of actually already doing it, right? You have these like fundamental videos. Those are great.
Yeah, I don't remember how that started, but
Yeah.
yeah. So the trip itself though was just, I'm there for a month. I'm by myself. I don't know anybody there. Like you're kind of forced to just like listen to yourself and like talk to yourself, and just like I feel like the label of like being in your head kind of gets like a bad rep sometimes, because people are like, oh, I'm in my head, and it's like sometimes I kind of like being in my head. Like it's me. I'm just talking to myself. I think the conversations we have in our head can be crazy at times.
I think that definitely changes it. You talk about getting this bad rap of being in your head, and I think that's associated with being like an overthinker, or maybe like you're, whatever. Being in your head is okay if the voice in your head is a little bit more kind.
Yeah.
and you're able to hold space for yourself or grace for yourself and not just be like,
Absolutely,
dude, you're a fucking,
Yeah.
you're a loser. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, yeah, if you're talking to yourself like that in your head, that's not a great place to be.
Yeah.
However, if you want to get to a better place, you got to do some inner work,
Yeah.
which involves being inside of your head
Yeah.
or consciousness or heart or
Yeah,
whatever this
yeah.
actually is when you go inside, wherever that actually exists.
Yeah.
You got to do some work. You got to
Absolutely.
clean up the weeds so that we talk to ourselves differently. And like you said, you put yourself through experiences where you're putting yourself in the fire. You're doing the hard things. You know, we avoid the hard things all the time. I think I was just watching a video recently on Instagram, and it was like some girl backpacking through like the coast, like not like backpacking through Europe, but like camping backpacking. And it was like the caption on the thing was like, "Isn't going to be uncomfortable." And then it like shows her like in the rain and just like trying to set up a tent, and like she's like literally posting all like the miserable parts.
Yeah.
And then her response is like, "That's the point."
Yeah.
Like for her to do the hard things and like what she took from it, right?
Yeah.
So
That's
it's-
deep.
You know what I mean? It's
It's so
like,
deep.
that's
yeah.
the point. Like,
It's not just the
damn.
camping. It's
Yeah, it's
everything else.
It's everything else, you
Yeah.
know, because it really is. It's the hard things. It's the hard things that make us.
Yeah.
That shape us. You know, it's the challenges. If something is not challenging to you, like you're not gonna grow. If you go in there and you just like first round sidekick some dude and he just like had no chance, it's like this doesn't really do anything for you.
It'd be
you know?
nice though.
But it'll be a nice highlight
Yeah.
reel.
I ain't gonna say no, but
But
I
you
guess
know,
it's growth. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, like, and people avoid going in here.
Yeah, and I think with especially with how like the first half of this year went, which is different like obstacles, where I felt the whole time I felt very much not myself.
Yeah.
I felt very like I felt just very dark inside, and I was compartmentalizing a lot of things, and I was just I just didn't feel like I didn't feel myself. I didn't feel like I was having fun with things. I felt very I'm not saying the whole every single day, every minute I felt that way, but a good portion I was feeling that.
Right. The overall
Yeah.
weather of what's happening in your life
Yeah.
kind of has that feeling.
Yeah, exactly. And I knew, especially after like things kind of cooled off, I was just like once I pulled out of the fight, like that was actually like a big relief. Like I was like, oh man, like I was like, I felt like that wasn't I wasn't supposed to fight on that ground.
Yeah.
Whatever, all the stuff that happened, like I was so okay with not fighting. And yeah, then trying to plan for this trip, I was just like, man, like like Thailand has a piece of me. Like it was such a big moment for me when I was a teenager. I was like, I should do it again. It's scary. I do have like this. I'm sure everyone does, but like partial fear of like flying. Especially long flights. And so part of it was like, dude, let's do it. And let's choose the longest flight possible, to where like you kind of have to deal with yourself. You have to deal with.
You can't run. You can't run.
You can't run.
You can't run.
You can't run.
Yeah.
And so, that was also part of why I wanted to go out to Thailand too, because I mean the travel was far, and I was like, I just want to be far away, and I want it to kind of be hard, where like I want to feel uncomfortable. I want to feel like I have to be aware of what's happening.
Yeah.
And I have to do it on my own, where it's getting from San Diego to LAX to Singapore to Phuket, from airport to the gym, do this, pay for the stuff, boom, boom, boom. Stayed by myself, basically had my own room for a month, which was, that was cool, but it's also very, very lonely.
Right.
And you have a lot of conversation with yourself, and
100%.
and also being at a gym that's very high level, world class, a lot of great guys out there, where I could have easily, I know, just gone there, done the classes, but just avoided going against certain people because it makes no difference to them. They don't know who I am. Like my coach is in there, nobody sees what I'm actually doing here.
Right.
Whatever I post or whatever I say, I talked to Carl or I talked to my brother a lot during the trip just to kind of let them know where I was at.
Yeah.
How did training go? What did you guys work on? That kind of stuff. Like I easily could have said like, oh, I did 5 hard rounds when I didn't spar at all.
Right.
It makes no difference. Nobody would know.
Nobody would know because you're on the other side of the
I mean,
earth.
I would obviously,
Yeah.
but they could be like, wow, man, he's killing it out there, when I could have not been. And so again, that's part of like putting myself in a position where like, hey man, like you're here now you have to do it. And so that was like reaching out to like the head coach there and like trying to get some privates with him, and then going to one of the Muay Thai coaches and I put yourself out there, man. Like,
Yeah.
this stuff's gonna be hard. And so I did some privates with them. I jumped into like Muay Thai classes, a lot of the strength and conditioning classes, like trying to do a good job at like putting myself out there, and then getting to know these coaches too, to where like okay, now that they're kind of like, I do have their eyes on me in terms of like they're gonna hold me responsible at times, which, you know, I do need that at times. You know? I'm not always like self-motivated, but just being there, putting myself out there, then going into like the sparring rounds there, where it's like, I know that guy's really good. I don't want to go against him, but I'm gonna go against him, and going through the round, I'd be like, dude, he did totally fine. Like,
relax,
right? And but just putting that stuff in like going for it, and being in a place where like there's the language barrier, and you know, eating, I don't want to say different foods, but just eating a lot different food from what we have here, really.
Right.
You know, I got really sick once when I was out there, and I was like trying to figure out how to get better. You know, I had a bad stomach bug, and it's like trying to buy all these teas and do all these different things.
Go to these pharmacies,
go to the
everything's in
pharmacies.
time.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, do I trust them? And, you know, are they going to give me the right thing? Is like, do they know what I'm saying? Do I know what they're saying?
Yeah.
And so you have like these little things where it's just kind of like these little mini like mountains you have to overcome. And yeah, so that was a big thing with that trip, was just, again, putting myself out there, doing stuff that I terrified of, but also kind of being forced to be like, hey man, we need to get back to ourselves. And I think there wasn't like one specific moment where I just felt me again. It just kind of progressively happened.
Yeah,
where,
like you said, all these small little mountains that you're kind of hurtling over or climbing or conquering are compounding to where it's like, oh, I actually feel good again. I feel myself.
I felt the cloud was washed away from over me, and like it was like it's me. Like, I'm having fun. I love this stuff because like martial arts is awesome. I mean, because all the stuff you can learn to do from it, but like it's just truly fun to me. Training is fun. It's hard, but it like I really, really just had fun. And that first half of this year, I just wasn't having fun with things, you know. And I was going down different holes where I just like trying to find ways to, you know, I was trying to like, oh, I gotta be angry when I train, angry when I fight. It's the only way I'm gonna do it, you know. And it's like, that's so not me.
Yeah, I'm the same as you.
So
which is
not
also probably why we like click when we train, because I feel like there's a very similar energy. Because it's like, I can't do that, but people are always like trying to be like, you gotta fucking, you gotta get like this, and you gotta pace back and forth. And I remember in my pro debut, and I think even in my second fight, my pro debut and my second fight, I came out and was like trying to play this role. Because you're still, you know, like you said, like, oh, I'm gonna research how to be a pro fighter. Like, you know, like, it wasn't like that, but it's like you watch and you emulate and you copy. That's what I'm supposed to be. They're that role, so I should be that. Yeah. But it wasn't authentically me. You know, it took a while, as you know, finding yourself and, you know, changing the narrative in your head or whatnot. I'm like, man, I can only be myself, and I am a playful fighter. I'm a playful person in general. Like,
you can't flow if you're angry. And it's like not even so much like, oh, trying to, you know, obviously we always want to hit that flow state when we're fighting or even training, but it's like kind of want to be in that flow state all the time, just in life. Yeah. You know, whether it's teaching or it's just driving, whether it's just having dinner, if it's watching TV, like you just, because you're in that flow state, then you're relaxed, you're happy, you're calm, you're at peace. And yeah, I was the complete opposite. But I'm like damn grateful that I had that, because now it's like, I didn't even know I could even reach that point. Right. You know, where it's like, I can recognize when I start to go down that, and it's like, dude. Yeah. You know, my big thing is too, is like, I forget who I said it to, but super serious at training, and I'm like cracking jokes, and they're just like, you know, like, why are you like that, basically? And I was like, look, like, yeah, if I'm gonna fight, I'm trying to knock the dude out. I'm trying to do all this stuff, you know, like physically hurt them and everything, but like, no one says you can't do it with a smile and like just have fun. Yeah. Like, there's no law that says don't have fun and you have to do this, you know, like this could be enjoyable, you know. And people always, one of my mindset coaches said back in the day, it's like, you know, you go to Disneyland, are you super tense and stressed out? No, you're usually pretty like, oh, this, you know, it's like, so, I mean, obviously it's kind of extreme, but like, yeah,
Disneyland, fighting another human being. Sure.
But it's also like, all right, go into a fight. You want to be feeling good? They're like, oh, well, I feel better on that. I'm like, okay, let's feel better then.
Yeah, no, and talking about the flow state, and this even comes full circle to like what you were talking about earlier, like getting out of your head. If you're in your head, you cannot be in the flow state. Yeah, those things don't exist together. The flow state is the absence of your mind thinking. Yeah. You're fully let go. It's like the subconscious that's taking over because you finally got out of your head. Yeah. You know?
I think, and going off what we were saying about when we're like in our head and talking to that voice and like, and, you know, redirecting where the voice is going, I don't think like you don't want to be in your head, or you can't be in your head in order to get the flow state, but you also can't get the flow state without having have been in your head to like realize the difference. And I think that's like something super important. Where a lot of us, we try to avoid being in our head sometimes, where we try to just like, put that voice away. Where it's like I know for me, even to this day, like if I have those like thoughts, I'm like, all right, dude, you want to have those thoughts? Let's have those thoughts, and like let's actually talk about it. Like, and I'll do that in my like to myself, and I'll like dive deep, and then it's you dive deep to the root of it, and you're like, oh, it's okay, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
And then I'm able to like, now I can flow.
I mean, that's honestly so important. And like those of you that are listening on the other side of that, like you've heard me say in a few other podcasts or people talk about like doing the work. Like what he just described is doing the work, right? You have these thoughts, intrusive thoughts. Thoughts are like the weather. It comes and goes, and sometimes we attach ourselves to it and this and that. But when these thoughts come, if you continue to run from them, like, oh, I don't want to have those thoughts, and you kind of do something to like disassociate, or maybe you go drink, or you just go out and whatever to not think about those thoughts, they're still there. Just because you don't look at the weeds in the garden, the weeds are still there.
Still there.
And so when you take the time to be like, all right, you want to talk right now? Like, let's have this conversation. Let's unpack these emotions. Let's unpack these feelings.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times you get to the root of it, and it's like, man, I was making that way bigger than I needed it to be.
Yeah.
Or maybe it is that big, but now you're taking the time to like slowly shave away at it.
Yeah.
Because when you do, it's easier to now get into the flow state because you don't have all this weight that is holding on to you or tugging you or pressing you down.
Yeah.
Because you've taken the time to actually sit with your thoughts.
Yeah. And that's, I was already trying to like deal with it like that. But, last few months, I like reconnected with my mindset coach, shout out Mindset Mike.
Hey.
But he's got like this thing where he part of like the course that you do, he used it based off like, why do you fight? You write down like, okay, why do I fight? People, I've done it a few different times because I've realized there's more than one reason for why I fight. But for example, like, to be a champ, right? And then but his big thing is like, repeat that why question like 7 or 8 times. It's like, why do you want to be a champ? It's like, because it shows that I'm the best. Like, why do you want to be the best? It's like, well, because then it shows that I did this, this, and that. Like, well, why this? And then why this? And then you get all the way down to the actual root of like, instead of it originally like on the surface, it says like, oh, I want to be a champ. Or maybe deep down it's like, to prove to my younger self that I could overcome this, this, and that. Like, that's a deep one. Kind of now when you have like the root reason, you're kind of like, it hits you harder
100%.
and you want it more. But it's the same thing with not just fighting. It's like some of the thoughts I'll get in my head would just, it could be anything. Like why do you want to do this? It's like, well, because of this. It's like, well, why do you want to do that? And then you get to it, you're like, oh, man, I don't really want to do it.
You don't want to do that.
Yeah, And
Yeah.
so,
asking questions is literally the most important thing. Like during the pandemic, I was taking a bunch of like life coaching courses, like as if I was going to be a life coach. And they stress that so much about asking the question and literally asking the question again.
Yeah.
Like as if to say like what do you want? Like, what do you really want? And you kind of go further because then you realize that the thing that you think you wanted, I actually don't even want that. What I really wanted was to be seen, or what I really wanted was this. And I thought that, this was kind of satisfying that. But then when you get to the root, like you said, it becomes so easier to make decisions in life in terms of what it is that you want, what it is that you don't want. And it feels good when you're in alignment.
Yeah, you see what's, I guess, really important to you.
Dude, 100%.
Or what's really causing this. And that's like, you have to have that in order to do something else. And, it's so easy for us to get stuck on the surface. Like, I feel like so many things we do now is very, very surface based.
Oh, dude.
Looks or like material items, things like that, where it's very easy for us to get just stuck on that.
Yeah, I mean, even like, say social media, right? Social media is, for the most part, really surface.
Yeah.
Right? Even the conversations you have with people, say you're constantly like interacting, commenting, people are commenting back from you, but like, you're not actually seeing that person. It's not really deep. Or the content people post, it's like, it's not a platform meant for depth. It's not a platform meant for depth. Like, things are short, 30-second this. You can get these little sound bites or whatever, and there can be. I'm not saying there's no depth at all.
Yeah.
But in general, that's not the lay of the land, and that's the land that we interact with on a regular basis.
Yeah.
The moment we're bored, what do? We take out our phone. We're just like scrolling, and so we're constantly interacting with a very surface level expression of life. Mm-hmm. But really, we're such deep creatures. conscious beings that it's like, no, dude, you have to go deep to like really get in touch with yourself.
Yeah.
But then people don't know how to do it because all they see is the surface level stuff and then this and that and yeah, man. Like
like going back to like the Thailand thing. Like I went out there and everyone was like, hey, get like a Thai SIM card so you have like you have service in your phone.
Yeah.
And I didn't. I was like, I mean, the gym I was at had Wi-Fi. My room had Wi-Fi, which is where I was at most of the time. But anytime I went throughout the town or the city, or I went and visited some islands one of the days, like I had no service for a good portion of it, and like that was by design. Where like out here, you know, service everywhere, Wi-Fi is everywhere. You know, I'm on my phone a lot. Like I help out with the social media for a few of the gyms that I work with, and so like I'm already on my phone a lot, and then you know I'm on my own social media too. But like being out there's times where like I remember I was on we're one of those speedboats going to one of the islands, and I don't even have service. Like what am I?
yeah, it's so habitual to take out your phone and look at it for some reason.
Yeah, so like not having service and not having check my phone was just like a great reminder, because it's a little bit more difficult for me here when I'm just present in like just regular life to not be on my phone a lot. You know, texting for work or just friends or family. It doesn't matter, right?
We're constantly connected to our phone.
When I'm over there, it's just like the time change was probably the best thing, because people knew like oh, I don't know if he's up or not. Let's just wait.
Yeah.
And it's like I'd be up or not. Like there's multiple times where I went a few days without reaching out to anybody, and just because it was just like I don't like.
Yeah, I'm sure that also felt really good and
so
peaceful.
So great, and it's
so great.
And it's so easy to just get stuck in that again. You know,
especially the world that we live in. It's very easy to get stuck in that.
Yeah, and it's funny. I think actually one of the best compliments I've ever gotten was from my oldest sister, Lexi. She said something about like my Instagram. She's like, I love your Instagram. She's like, because she's like, obviously I know you. Like I know you know, being my big sis and everything. And she goes, I see your Instagram. She's like, and I know that's like authentically you. And that was like, I didn't think of it at the time, but like after it kind of hit me, I was like, holy crap, because there's so many people who are on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok. You only post the good things or the right things. Like obviously, like a lot of stuff I post, it's all martial arts. And it's like, well, cause that's freaking what I do every day.
That's what I love, actually.
It's what I do every day.
Every day is what I'm doing. I'm on the mat all the time.
Yeah, I post a lot of cool, funny kicks and me hitting the pads, and like that's all great. But like, I like posting it. That's genuinely me. You know? But I'd also post a lot of stupid stuff of me making a fool of myself or doing the fun videos, like, because that's actually me.
That's also you.
It's very much
that goofy,
me.
Fun, just kind of like happy-go-lucky personality.
Exactly. And the stuff I comment on things, like that's all very much me.
Yeah.
So that was like a really cool compliment to get, which was unexpected. But like ever since like, and this was like a couple years ago when she said that, and I'm like, so like I take pride in that now too, where there's times where I'll post something and it'd be like, oh, it's not getting as much likes, and I'll want to delete it. And then like I go to delete it, I'm like, dude, who freaking cares?
Gosh.
You know, it's a trigger, right? You just gotta like.
Because then it comes back to, why am I even posting? Why am I even sharing? Again, we go back to these questions. Yeah. Oh shit, am I just doing this for like this instant gratification? Yeah. This little dopamine hit of like people liking my stuff or commenting on my stuff? But it's like, no, I just wanted to post that. I wanted to share that. So
I think one of the worst settings or new settings that Instagram added was you can unhide your like amount.
Okay, yeah, I do know that.
Where I know because I've done it, and then same thing though. Like I'll go back and like, who cares how many likes you have? Like show people how many like people will unhide their likes, or will hide their likes if they don't have a lot of likes.
Right, like, oh, you only got 15 likes, so I'm not going to show that.
Not going to show it, yeah. People don't know, but it's like, because I've done the same thing. Like oh, I don't have a lot of likes, I'll hide them, but then I go back like, dude, it really doesn't. It's a whole freaking personal thing. And it's like, dude, just who cares?
Yeah.
Okay. And then, I'll unhide them. But like, I think that's like one of the dumbest settings you can have on Instagram. Because it's like, it's adding to that. It's adding to that thing where, oh, they don't have a lot of likes, I'm just going to hide it. Like, no, show it. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to see at least me personally, I don't know how everyone else thinks in the world, but like, oh, he only got 6 likes on this. When some other things he gets to like 300 likes. Like, okay. You move on to the next thing. Like, it doesn't change my opinion of the person.
No.
Or, but in our heads, it's like, oh man, people are going to show that like they didn't really like this post at all. It's like, sometimes people just don't even see the post.
Yeah.
Like it's completely out of our control when we post stuff on Instagram or TikTok or Twitter. Like,
you got to be able to let go, be detached.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now it's like I almost like, you know, if there's something I think about posting, I'll usually just post it now.
Yeah.
Because of the uncomfortability of like not getting a lot of likes or some crap, you know, and then it's like, cool.
Yeah. Like, no, I feel that, dude.
We're
like
all good.
Like some of the like last posts that I did, because I posted a bunch of stuff from the Bellator fight.
Yeah.
And then I wrote this spoken word about like kind of the experience.
Yeah.
And then I would just like take little captions from it, which are just literally words and sentences.
Yeah.
And I could have like B-rolled it and could have done all this stuff, but like as a writer, I was like, I actually just want to highlight the words.
Yeah.
Because I want these words to have impact. And so then I'll have a post that gets 30 likes instead of 300 likes.
Camera's getting too hot.
Ooh.
We're just too hot.
We're just too hot. Honestly, this happens all the time. We're gonna.
We're too hot.
You know what though? It's already 11:30.
Is it really?
It's 11:30,
Damn,
and practice
flew by.
isn't in 30 minutes. So maybe that was a sign for that camera to be off. Let me see if I could turn this. Oh man, we'll just talk to this camera. We'll just talk to this camera.
Just talk like this the whole time.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was almost kind of a good tell for us because I didn't realize it was already 11:30. Got practice at 12. So yeah, on that, you know, just kind of knowing who you are, being authentic, showing up as yourself. But as we wrap up, man, not to like obviously like just be abrupt in the conversation.
Oh yeah.
We've talked about a lot, but
Yeah.
is there anything you would want to tell the people, whether it's about fighting or life or finding yourself or?
I would say the world needs more martial artists. So if you don't train, go train.
Oh.
And have fun. That's about it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. Everything else will, I think, just play out the way it's supposed to be.
Agreed. Yeah. Go do some martial arts. Go play. Go have fun. Go find yourself. Get out of your head or in your head if you need to work through
Get in your head, deal with yourself,
and then get out of your head.
and then get out of your head. And flow from there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, right on. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for listening. That was episode 12, and you are officially the season finale of...
Let's go.
Yeah, let's do this, man.
Let's freaking go.
Looking forward to
Heck yeah.
coming back when I'm ready to train and
Yeah.
getting some working with you, dog.
I'll either be here or Thailand, so.
Ooh, I'll come see you in Thailand.
Hell yeah.
Thank you,
man.
bro.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Right on, guys. Thanks for do a little one of these. I forgot to do this yesterday. Just finished the podcast. Oh yeah. We are here at one of our favorite places in the world, which is Steel MMA. Oh yeah. All right. Jordan's got class in a little bit here, and I'm about to drive up to the Bay Area to go have surgery. Ooh. Oh bro, next episode, dog, we're doing katas.